right.
All right, are we ready to kick this thing?
I think we are.
We're ready to kick this thing. No kicking. We are all being watched by John Pagel right now. He is staring at us. We're all nervous because he doesn't like the look of my wires. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of llama champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. As long as you drive it hard and build it yourself, unless you want John Pagel to build your cage, that's okay too. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, call us sweet. We're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just the tip. We're sure he'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock. This is Chrissy. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And this is where I would normally fade out the music, but we have no music. We are Everyone Racers.
We have ambiance.
And we are live, not really live because we're recording live from PRI, that is the Performance Racing Industry Show. That's right, we're all together. The Performance Racing Industry Trade Show, live. It's live!
You say, stop saying live and start saying racingjunk.com booth.
We are very excited to be here. As you know, we are, where are we? Indianapolis, thank you.
Somewhere cold.
It is cold.
Fly over here, right?
This is already a train wreck. Not even drunk yet. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
6:03.
I can't tell. Chris,
I'm the one that changed like time zones. How are you this terrible?
I don't even know what day it is. Chris, what are you working on?
Well, I finished stripping the Civic, which is not as kinky as it sounds. But I had to cut out a motor mount and weld it in, and took out the pedal cluster, and because of this, we got the white Civic. And so then I realized once the new white Civic was home, there's things off the green Civic I still needed. So I started cutting that.
Hopefully a dead pedal. Are we getting a dead pedal on this one?
I kept the dead pedal.
Yeah, excellent, good.
If I ever go put a dead pedal next door, I'm
You're going to be the dead pedal.
kept all that. So I really, the Civic is stripped, and the new Civic is home parked next to it. So we're looking between the two of those. And really I'm yelling for that. Get prepped for here. So that's what we've been doing. Yep. Great.
Well, we have some sensitivity issues on your mic, so just sorry.
Okay. Great.
Sensitivity issues.
Mazda, what are you working on?
I am just in from Sonoma with John, who is again joining us here in the booth. It's awesome. We actually strung some Christmas lights, so I'm not the Scrooge on my block anymore. A good buddy swung into town on Monday, and I had a fast turn to get here. So I was literally home for 2 days and jumped on an airplane.
I'll fix it in post, everyone. Don't worry.
There is no post.
Is that me?
It is you.
Chrissy.
Oh, Chrissy. Someone skips over Chrissy.
We put some cars into storage, so I shuffled some cars while Chris drove the tractor trailer, which was no fun for him. I got to drive the Corvette.
Yes.
It was great. And then back to back, drove the NSX to the garage. So talk about dichotomies. Talk about two kind of cars that are very different from the same-ish eras. It was great to drive the NSX and put time with storage. So we shuffled all the cars, and they're sitting next to the Mazda.
And the MG.
And the MG, yes. And in our offsite storage. And we got hosted, and I had some time with it.
Awesome. I guess it's my turn. What's my turn? New tires, new wheels and tires for the Blaster N, which was just in time. We mentioned that the tire rack had trouble getting me the Continentals that we wanted to get. So I have the Pirellis, mounted them, they look great, and it was perfect timing because I drove in the snow to work the day after I put on the tires that were not summer tires and going to kill me. Whatever.
Yuck.
It's still fun.
Sounds
here's
fun.
A safety tip, a pleasant driving tip for your Blaster N. 19-inch wheels with 35 profile. They are really hard to daily drive. Just go ahead and get yourself some 18s and you'll feel much
There's
better.
a safety tip in the middle of the show.
Middle of the show. There it is.
I actually got my 35s put on my 19s, but I do not know of this white stuff on the ground that you speak of. So
Sounds like a comfortable ride.
he knows.
You might have noticed a new voice. Yes, we have a new voice. We're not here for nothing. We actually have a guest. The voice is Aldrin Villanueva, the head of marketing for the National Auto Sport Association, also known as NASA, of course. Aldrin, what are you working on?
Working on a lot of things. Thank you guys for having me on this podcast. It's been such a great show, and I really appreciate you guys having me on here. But we're working on a lot of 2022 season planning, so we're updating a lot of our programs. We're also working on our endurance series. We just released the schedule for our work and trek series, and then of course we're also very deep planning into our national championships this year, which is going to be at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So huge bucket list track for a lot of people. A lot of people want to go to the West Coast, so we're super excited about that, and yeah, it's great. Been busy.
Corkscrew.
And the corkscrew.
Yep.
All right.
I think my favorite turn was the one after.
Oh,
Yeah, turn 9, yeah.
Suck it up and go.
You just got to commit. That's the thing.
Mine
You
is the
commit.
one before the corkscrew going up the hill because you never felt like you got it right. Yeah,
Really, all of Laguna is fantastic.
it
Yeah.
is.
Each turn is so fun.
Yeah.
awesome. We're going to do a sponsor section. Mental?
So we're here at the PRI. We're at the RacingJunk.com booth, and we're talking about their giveaways. They've still got the Baranski engine. We're staring at it, the 700 horsepower streetable LS that they're giving away. We've talked about the coffee, the Gearhead coffee thing. But last year, they gave away a trailer, and we have the winner, and also she's going to be a future guest. So we've got Tracy Gadu. And she's going to talk about, because you see all these great contests, you're like, oh, nobody ever wins those. You're a real person. You're a real racer.
But I really won it.
You really won. So, yeah.
Yes, I did.
Tell us what you want.
I won a.
Tell us what you want.
Yes, really. I won a 24-foot all aluminum enclosed race trailer from Intech Trailers.
Sounds great.
And it's mine. I don't have to give it back. So I get asked that a lot. So do you have to give it back? I'm like, no, it's not a loan. It's mine, and it's been awesome. I can't even tell you how much it's changed my race team.
Did they
So
always give you like a good one with options, or is it like here's the box?
no, they actually put the color of cabinets I wanted in, orange, which matches my car, of course.
You even got to decorate it. That's pretty cool.
That's it is. I did add a couple of things, but just the trailer they would have given me without my add-ons was worth at least $20,000. So it's not. It's a very nice trailer. It has LED lights inside. It pulls very well. It's great. I can't even talk
And you
about
just got your NASA competition license, so
Yeah,
that's
this
coming
year.
in very handy. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Tell us more about the car that you drive.
2008 Corvette Z06.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you run Super Unlimited
I run Super Unlimited
in,
this year.
NASA, of course. Which
Yes,
is, yeah.
with NASA.
All right.
What region? Where are you at?
Southeast.
Southeast.
Yes.
All right, excellent. And we're going to have you on the show in January, but you were here and we wanted to talk about that. So when we're talking about these contests on RacingJunk.com, enter these because you'll win. Somebody's going to win. Might as well be you.
And you know what? It took me 3 times to win, so don't give up. I'm proof
there
of that.
you go. That's some solid advice.
Probably the best solid advice here is go to racingjet.com, check out
Facts.
all the things that they're giving away, check out what they're selling. They're obviously a great marketplace full of
Yeah.
ads and things, but also the newsletter filled with tech tips and all kinds of stuff.
Events, all the events are happening. Yes, fantastic.
Pacific on Racing Junk the other day.
Yes,
I have one spam email from where it's up there.
it's up there. All right.
For $100. It's a shell with a cage. That's all.
Yeah.
It's there.
And speaking of events that you can find advertised, Chrissy's got some.
Oh, we're going to upcoming races! Champ cars going to Barber. We've got 67 cars going there.
Well,
19 BMW,
Boring.
2 Miatas, 2 Hondas, 5 Porsches, and a 75 Chevy Nova.
Corey, be praised.
Thank you. Lennon's is also finishing up their 21 season with the world famous Kim Harmon Scrodium 500 at Road Atlanta. 107 cars, 21 of which are BMWs,
Boring.
3 Miatas, 10 Hondas, 0 Porsches.
Well, because of Lemons.
God be praised. 0 Porsches. Being the Scrodium race, host of great stuff, host of plenty of great stuff, always shows up. There's a TR8, a Buick Century, and the super exclamation point Beetle. Barman, GD Yeoman.
Yes. You know who also deserves an exclamation point in the middle of their name? Chrissy's exclamation point mom.
That makes it sound like I get the exclamation point.
That's a good point. So Chrissy's mom exclamation point. There we go.
Grammar, details.
She was literally our first listener, so
Are you introducing or am I introducing? It's still green.
It's all you, man.
It's all right.
Kick it.
Our guest, Aldrin, Villanueva, marketing manager for NASA. Is there a bio?
Maybe.
I don't see it. Tell us who you are, Aldrin.
So as you've already mentioned, I handle all the marketing for NASA. So do a lot of the marketing initiatives, contingencies, anything racing related on a national level, and then I work with all the different regions to make everything happen. So it's a lot of work, a lot of hats to wear, but it's always a fun job.
Okay, that's great. That's your job. But what are you into?
What am I into?
Are you a racer? What do you do?
I don't race competitively, but I do drive, so I do a lot of HPD track events. I will jump into some of the endurance events with some friends if that's what they, if they need an extra driver. But always been a car enthusiast, big Subaru guy, so I always love the rally stuff, a lot of dirt stuff. But always love road racing and autocross, so I'm a fan of pretty much all disciplines of motorsports, and this just gives me an opportunity to do some fun stuff in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I grew up in the back of a rally car, TSD, SCCA rally car.
Awesome.
And performance rally was always my desire. But I live in New Jersey, and there is no performance rally east of the Mississippi, except for like once a year. So this lovely organization called Lemons once decided that we could all be road racers. But we are all NASA members.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
We are members.
Oh.
In fact, John Pagel is a NASA Spec 7 champion.
No, not a champion, a racer.
Okay, but you've won. I know you won events and
Won races.
okay.
I never hit the championship. Don't ruin those.
So all right, so
the back
John,
one there.
if that didn't come across, John corrected me, but he's a racer and he's won some races, and yeah, that's why one of the myriad of reasons we like having him around as well. We are, yeah.
Can you tell us, for people that don't know what NASA is, and we're not talking about space, what is NASA?
Well, yeah, we are the race guys, not the space guys. So NASA is one of the largest sanctioning bodies in the United States. So we host close to over 120 events. We have 2 big tentpole events, which is our national championships, which moves from big tracks year to year, and then we also have one of our biggest events, which is the longest endurance in America, is the 25 hours of Thunderhill. So
Highly
it's not about
recommended.
winning; it's about surviving 25 hours of straight racing. So.
And so it's a regional, instead of always in franchise.
Yep. Yeah. The easiest way to explain it is just kind of like that McDonald's franchise. So I work for the national office. We handle all the marketing initiatives, a lot of the rule sets, doing all the event registrations. We handle all of that. And then all the individual regions have all of their agreements with the tracks, and they set up their events, and they kind of cater to their market. So there's a lot of variety, but no matter where you go and you race with NASA, you're always going to have that same experience, whether you are an HPDE driver, whether you're time trial or racing.
We love NASA, and I don't want this to come off weird. We love one region more than others.
Interesting.
Three of you love one more region, because I've been a member of a couple, and
Favoritism,
they've
cool.
got their merits, but the reason you love your region is a solid reason.
So the NASA Great Lakes region and the HPDE program that they run is
amazing.
absolutely top-notch.
It is
Amazing.
the standard. Everyone should be that good.
Whoever's working in the national office just has to understand that they are amazing. Bring them to every region to teach every region how to run HPDE track day weekend. Fantastic. The educational program that they do. I raced for 12 years before I went to the NASA Great Lakes.
Okay.
And I learned in one that
That's awesome. Jay Andrews region, the Great Lakes region, is fantastic. We are very much aware of his curriculum, his program, and how much work and dedication he puts into that, and it is something that we absolutely want to model for a lot of the other regions. It's something we're always constantly talking about. Jay is actually at PRI, so he's hanging out in our booth while I'm not there. And no, he's a great guy. We love his HPD program, everything that he does for NASA and everything that he does for his region. We very much appreciate it, and it's kind of a really, really awesome region to be a part of just because of your experiences there. Just like you said, you learn so much in such little time, so it's very cool.
Now, I'm out on the West Coast, so, you know, and I was also a member of the Mardi Gras region when that got founded down in New Orleans.
No.
But I got to run Thunderhill, and you guys just did Thunderhill, and there were some significant events that happened at Thunderhill. The 25 hours of Thunderhill,
yep.
which you guys run, you know, the slightly shorter course than Lemons. But I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just saying we're tougher. But it's actually Thunderhill is just such a great multi-configurable track. So
it is multiple tracks. Yeah, Thunderhill's a great track. The NASA NorCal region's very much it's one of the favorite tracks out there. You have to trust the track. There's a lot of elevation change,
yes.
A lot of weather change. As we talked about microclimates, there's a lot of things that could go right, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong at that track. So
yeah,
it's very cool.
But so the recent Thunderhill, you know, if you want to talk about the historically significant event.
Just so you know, we are all about electrical vehicles.
Yes.
I cannot wait for the electrical overlords to take over so I can plug in my car and stop using gas.
Well, or so that gas cars become like horses nowadays, and you keep them for sporting purposes. But I would like a vehicle with all of the torque now.
Yes, right now, and I am very much waiting for Elon Musk to take me to the moon. So let's let that happen. He can do whatever he needs to do, but I'm ready to go. Yeah, EV cars is a really big thing. You know, as NASA and sanctioning bodies, you know, we try to be at the forefront of all this new technology, all these new cars and all these new technologies. So we always constantly update our rules. We always look at the industry and see what's going on, and we figured, you know, the future is electric. It's going to be electric. There's a lot of electric cars out there, electric conversions, electric new ones. So over the past couple years, there's been a lot of we've kind of created an EV class for a time trial where Teslas drive. So there's a lot of racetracks that have installed chargers now. So that's a lot of things that we're looking at. And for the 25 hours of Thunderhill, we did it was the first ever electric vehicle that competed in that entire race. So it was really cool. They didn't, you know, you don't have chargers at the hot pits, but they were doing battery swaps.
Well, it's John and I were talking on the way over here. That is literally a fuel stop. It's not a liquid fuel, but electricity is a fuel, and that's the fuel of that car. So it was the first ever fuel pit stop of an EV in an endurance race.
Yeah. And we have a video of it on our Facebook, and it is quite the sight to see a very silent car come in the hot pits. And it's still silent, and then they do a battery change, and all you hear is just the jacks, some tools, and then that's it, and then it takes off.
We probably should mention it's an EV sport racer class, so it is a converted. Is it a
Formula Ford, or Spec Racer Ford? Yes, thank you.
We actually. We actually know one of the we know one of the guys who is building some of the chassis. That's not the builder for every chassis, but shout out to Hobson.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah.
So, most of our listeners are endurance racers. This is what they do, and a lot of them started by endurance racing. Like they just got in the car and hoped for the best, and haven't really had any formal training or anything like that. And I think a lot of them would benefit from some of the things that NASA has to offer. So they've heard me and Jeff this evening talk about it. So I'm thinking an elevator pitch from you about why someone who does this reason. I've been racing for a couple years. I'm fine. There's probably something with NASA.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, if this is something that you've been doing for a while, you know, doing an endurance racing with NASA, it teaches you a lot about things. It teaches you about teamwork, preparation, all of these different things, and we have the tools and we have the program and the curriculum to facilitate all of that in the safest and the most fun way. So, you know, endurance racing is totally different from sprint racing, and so you get a lot of different challenges. It's a whole new set of challenges, and once you get past, you know, a 6-hour mark or a 12-hour endurance race, all your workload just quadruples. crew, food, tools, spares, all of that stuff. So it's a different kind of challenge. So not only are you trying to win your class, you're trying to get your car to survive the endurance race, you're also trying to just survive the entire time.
We stopped at a vendor booth today. I won't call them out because we're going to talk about how we broke their machinery.
Uh-oh.
He was pitching his clutch. We'll say it was a clutch. And
We'll say.
Chris came up and says, "Oh yeah, we ran that. It broke this way." And he said, "No, don't do that." And then we're like, "Oh, we're endurance racers." And he went, "Oh, that makes sense."
So was it a you break, you buy moment, or
you buy, then you've already broken
oh,
it.
yeah, or you bought it?
And
It's all about you buy.
That's true.
yes. So, and because you're graciously still hanging out with us, Tracy, you mentioned you're looking to move up.
Yeah, I'd like to try endurance racing. I've tried some different things this year with a hill climb, a Grand Prix down in Chattanooga. I've got my competition license, and I had run time trials for over 3 years. So endurance is the next thing I like to do. And so I don't really think my Corvette is an endurance vehicle, but I'd like to get in maybe with a team and just try it out and see how I like it. I think I would.
Oh, absolutely. A great endurance vehicle is a 74 Plymouth Satellite. Yeah. John's giving me the look. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Yes, Miata.
Yeah.
The answer.
Miata is always the answer I just heard. So
But yeah, and that's exactly, so we like that you've got that tiered system, and then you don't have to go all the way up there to that. You find, HBD is where I live. I bring my streetcar out. I have a great time. It's still a good weekend.
Yep.
Oh no, I absolutely want to throw down. I want a full cage. That's
You can do it. You can do it all within NASA. So it's good.
So NASA, talk to us about the endurance racing that
Yeah.
NASA is doing.
So we have two forms of kind of endurance racing. We have what they call a more serious racing is our Western Endurance Racing Championship. That is really held on the West Coast. We do about 6 or 7 events, ranging from about 3 to 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So there's a lot of really cool cars that come through that. So you have a lot of higher end cars that come through that, and then you have your spec Miatas. And then you guys seem to think BMWs are boring, but they're one of the most popular classes in our within NASA.
Exactly.
That's true.
why are they boring?
So could you guys elaborate why they're boring?
It's the most popular car, and when you've got 100 cars and 50 of them are BMWs, it's like pressing the easy button and be creative. Find something that shouldn't make it.
The honest reason is
Fair enough.
we are tired of losing to E36.
Particularly
Race a Honda for crying out loud.
Particularly Amanda. We're tired of losing to Amanda and her
All right, fair.
We've lost to other E36.
You guys have a good gripe about that. It's gonna,
Well, and then also the guy that welded up the Spec Racer Ford, we've driven his BMW. He'll show it up to when one of our cars won't make it, he brings us a boring BMW, which we promptly covered with Nissan badges so we could hide our shame.
We have literally driven the wheel off of that car twice.
That is-
literally.
It's a fantastic video of. Well, it only had 3 after Chris got done with it.
One wheel.
Yeah. It's true. 3 out of 4 is good. Just out of like 4 out of 5 lug nuts, you're all right.
Before we go too far off this,
Yeah.
you said Western is the more serious. So what kind of tracks are they covering?
It's gonna be Willis. Yeah,
Okay, Laguna?
they will actually. So funny thing about Laguna is, with this Western Endurance Racing Championship, our work series, we're gonna have a first ever endurance 6.5 hour endurance at Laguna Seca right after our championship event. So we're gonna do our championship event in September, and then that following Monday is a 6.5 hour endurance race, and we call it the Seaside Cup, and it's going to be a really, really cool event just because there's like a lot of interest in people wanting to do an endurance at Laguna Seca.
What are the requirements for a car to participate? Because we have a lot of listeners out around that area.
Sure.
Have an endurance racing car, haven't run to NASA. What should they do ahead of time to try to see if can I come to this? I want to do this. What can I do?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. First thing is just look at our rule sets. Our endurance rules mirror our road racing rules. So our super touring rules, which is a lot of power to weight ratios, unless you are in a spec class. So if you're in a spec E30 or spec Miata, yeah. No. But
when I ran the 25 hours, I ran a spec E46, sorry.
The boring car, right?
Boring car. Yeah, no, true.
So the nice thing is we made it simple. So endurance racing rules mirror mirror our road racing rules. The only real difference is that there's some supplemental rules for endurance racing, which is pit stops and how to do the fuel stop. So little minor differences, but generally, if you follow our road racing rules, you can enter your car into an endurance series.
That's great.
As a safety inspector for both NASA and the head of tech for Lemons, I would say that most of the cars you guys are talking about will be legal in both series. It's just about the rules of fueling and the way the track works and the classing. The car will be able to run.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you very much, John.
Boom. Straight from the biggest brain at this table.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Tracy, I don't know if you've heard that, but these races are so long we have to pull over and get gas.
She drives a Corvette. She absolutely understands. She understands how to refuel.
I ran out of fuel at CMP like last month, so I understand.
I was going to say, Aldrin did the 3-hour race is great, but that's like one shift.
Yeah.
Like we're not even going to get a second driver on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to Ironman it, you guys can just do that whole thing.
Yeah, that's actually how we won one of our classes. Is
That's
we put
nice.
a 20-gallon fuel cell in there and just went for 4 hours, and
There you go.
we learned a lot.
20 gallons in 4 hours?
Yeah.
No. We sat in the car for 4 hours. Yeah, it was a Honda.
Very fuel efficient. Yeah, fuel efficient car.
At 3 hours and 45 minutes, they called me in. I was like, no, I still have 15 more minutes. No, we're in our fuel window. You need to come in now. Okay.
Oh man.
Stay out. We say stay out, and then you try.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Some Cheez-Its in the side right here.
Well, it's these.
This sloshing around, right? Those high G corners.
They actually figured this out from a running thing. You use the protein gels that marathoners use.
Yeah.
And now the trick is, and we learned this from Chris, is you got to make that tear before you get in the car, because you can't do that.
Yeah.
Your helmet under the socks.
Those are like, pre-chewed, protein bars already. It's all gelled up for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Now you mentioned the other series, and I saw this. It's primarily out here and on the East Coast.
It's actually, most of the regions run it. We made it as a national program. It's a Trek. It's a team endurance racing. And that one is more relaxed rules. It's designed to be very fun, very just kind of, all you need is a race car. You don't need a racing license to do it. You just need somebody with a caged race car that passes NASA inspection, and you can run it. And it's a lot of the classes are very simple. There's just like Trek 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just depending on how fast you qualify is where you get classed in. And then if you want to, there's rules against sandbagging. There's a lot of different things that we just try to making it.
RacingJunk.com just raised his hand.
Well,
Sign me up.
Well, and we were in a state of the racing industry briefing this morning, and one of the things that they were talking about is there's a lot of folks that they've got the car, they've got the most expensive component, but they're reducing their motorsports calendar because they just can't afford the tow to stay in their series. And if you're not trying to run down a particular championship, this sounds like a great deal. And we've already heard John say that you could take, if your car is legal in this series, it's going to be legal in that one. And especially if you guys have like relaxed rules and it's just about come drive
have fun.
Just drive the car.
Yeah, it's having fun. It's not meant to, you're not there winning your class or championship event. You're there just because you want to have fun and you want to race a car for 2, 3, 4 hours. So it's really cool to get a bunch of people who have little experience. Maybe they're just HPDE drivers that want more seat time. And that's a really great way to do it with very minimal pressure. So if you have a race car and safety gear, just come race Trek.
All right, so and you said it's national, but I was looking at your schedule, and I'm hoping, is there a market for that one? Because I'm excited about this. This is something that,
a lot of the regions are going to, they've a lot of them put out their 2022 schedule already. So they'll typically, once you go to the event, it'll note that if it's a Trek event or not. So a lot of it is because it's extra time, right? So you have our normal NASA regional racing, but if you want to do an endurance event, you either have to do it on a Friday. So there's kind of things you don't want to take away track time from the normal racing. So
that is a component obviously I had not considered on that one. Now we mentioned boring BMWs, but we've also, John, Miata is always the answer. And on here you've mentioned, because we have a Mazda, and we've talked about some of their. Or might Chris is giving me a look. Okay. Absolutely.
Very happy to participate in these super drives.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. Super event.
It has a wonderful lady on her name right now, but she worked for Toyota.
Awesome.
Super, like she builds the transmissions with cameras on these stuff online. And
That's cool.
Super, so pretty cool thing. So we drove that around VIR here. So I started all these super traffic cars and showed her what they could do. She was like, this is amazing. I had no idea. And by the end of the session, we were going 120 to 3 VIR with her driving her car. And she's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
So I've seen people really enjoy it. And that comes off the car. You guys have
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that. Toyota is such a huge, partner for us. We were super appreciative of what they've done for us and how we work together with this program. And we started the Super program about 3 years ago as a pilot program, and it's just taken off ever since. Toyota's been really happy with how we set up the events and how we do these Super events, which has been pretty awesome. That we've been lucky and fortunate enough to be able to expand the program to the next generation of GR cars, which is the 86, so the second generation 86. And so same deal. If you buy GR86, you get one free track day, HPDE day with NASA with an instructor if you need one, and a free membership, 1 year membership.
That's
It's a
fantastic.
really cool thing that Toyota's been doing for us.
right there by the 86.
Well, and yes, facts.
Yeah.
If you buy a 74 Satellite and you race in Lemons, you get a free track day.
Well, actually, he sold that car already, and I'm gonna say he probably got an entry on that one.
I'm just curious because Satellite GR86, same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And if you are a Toyota dealer and you've got a GR86 that you are willing to sell, add sticker and not be a jerk about it,
Also true.
one of our listeners, Cameron Lopez, who gave us all of that great 3D printed stuff. Cameron is immensely frustrated with his local Toyota dealership. So reach out to us at everyone.ratios and say, hey, I've got a good, or I can get a good GR86 and sell it at a reasonable price to an enthusiast who is buying, because he's like the rest of us. He's never bought a new car, and this is going to be his first new car. And yeah, the dealers either don't understand what the car is supposed to do or asking him why he wants a manual when the car would shift itself. And
The car sells itself.
and that's not a reflection on Toyota. That's just a reflection on salespeople.
Actually, let's talk about this for a minute, because we, as enthusiasts who like to buy cars, are quite frustrated with the state of the new car market.
It's crazy.
So, finding a manufacturer that is willing to partner with a track day association, with a road racing association, to teach their students, to teach their customers, I should say, why their car does what it does is amazing. So you are the marketing manager. Did you have anything to do with creating these partners?
And feel free to lie.
Yes, I'll make myself sound awesome. We're the national office is such a small team, so we all had our hand in making this program possible. Our partnership with Toyota, Toyota is, some of the team members have always raced with us. We have the Tap G Motorsports, they've done the 25 hours. So, there's always that connection with Toyota. And with this kind of new generation of what Toyota wants to do with bringing back all these sports cars, it just made sense for us to, to partner up with them and be like, hey, let's do something really fun and unique that no one's really done before. And let's give people a good time and get people to use these cars for what they were designed for.
So do you ever have an opportunity to actually talk to the Toyota guys?
Yes,
That's what I want to know.
I do.
And they like unique stuff, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Happen to have something for them.
All right, tell me.
We have our buddy, Uncle Dave, who is out there. He's on our race team. He's a 3-pedal Mafia. He is racing. Any idea what year it is, Chris?
86.
An 86 Crescent.
Nice.
So he is road racing, endurance road racing, an 86 Crescent. Quite successful.
With 170 horsepower, and he is always, if not top 5, top 10.
That's all you need.
Top 10 every single race, like clockwork, with a 1 MG. 6 MG. Sorry, 6 MG.
We don't do Toyotas.
Yeah. Something one.
Thank you. It's not a 2JZ, no shit. Right? Because that would dominate.
Only if you overnight parts from Japan.
Honestly, this is the kind of thing. How many Hondas and how many Mazdas are racing every weekend?
Well, and because you've also got a partnership with Mazda.
Yeah, we do, absolutely. Yeah, Mazda helps us a lot with our Teen Mazda Challenge program. So they create a ladder, and we help them create this ladder for teen drivers to come out from a karting community. And they want to race, so they race within the Spec Miata, and then they can participate in the Mazda MX-5 shootout, the Shootout Cup, which just happened in October.
Yes, we wandered by that booth, and we're looking at those new MX-5
those Cup cars.
Yes.
Yeah, those Cup cars are amazing. So it was really cool when we were actually there to check things out. And so they help us build this kind of ladder system so that if a NASA teen driver wants to become his career, they want to be his or her career as professional racers, they can. Or if they want to stick to amateur racing, they can. And they have the full support from a manufacturer and a good platform.
Yeah, and that's really what I was trying to get at. Is we expect that from Honda and Mazda. They have been working with the enthusiast community for years and years and years. What do we know about Toyotas? Your grandmom says, "What should I buy?" And you say, "The most Camry you can afford."
Or Corolla.
Well, we had a Corolla do quite well this weekend at Sonoma, so yeah.
Yeah.
So for Toyota, it's not a departure because they've been sports car people in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a return.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
it is huge.
The Supra is a fantastic car.
Mm-hmm.
The BRZ is the
86.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and if you're typing up your angry email about how it needs a turbo or it needs torque, you're wrong. It's a great enthusiast car.
Yep, absolutely.
I have tracked an 86.
Yep. Yeah, if you're comparing, horsepower numbers, then sure, most people will be disappointed. But if you're driving the car as intended, it is one of the best platforms out there.
Absolutely, and use that to get perfect and get better, and then when you're precise, move on to it.
Yeah, it teaches you how to drive.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think it was a fantastic car.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Bill Fisher of the Garage Heroes in Training podcast,
The second most popular endurance racing podcast.
his teenage son needed a car to daily and track because they are track day folks. They're big into NASA. He just got his instructor certification.
Nice.
Stole the 86 back from the
Absolutely. Exactly. And one weekend, my car was not ready, and we had an off-site hotel. And he said, "Take Liam's 86." It's not here because I don't know what class he failed or whatever in high school. He was not allowed that weekend. The car was amazing. And
Awesome.
we took it out for I think 2 sessions because my Miata was overheating. So, that it was, like I said, big congratulations to Toyota.
Thank you.
And NASA, obviously.
Well, and they clearly picked the right group to work with.
They sure did. So, no, it's a great partnership. We hope to continue this long into the future, and that direction that Toyota is taking with bringing these sports cars back, I think is great.
Yeah, and now you also mentioned, you said you had that's the 22 NASA championships.
Yep.
Do you know where it's? Well, you probably know. Are you allowed to tell us?
I did, yeah. So we're actually going to have it.
Is this like a? Is this
We
like
all
a
know.
We all know now.
Unveiling?
No.
No, we
For
actually
all of
announced
our
it.
listeners, it
We
probably
know.
is.
You got the drum roll, all the cool sound effects. Yeah. No. So the NASA National Championships for 2022 is going to happen at WeatherTech Raceway in Laguna Seca for this year. So we're going back to the West Coast. We've done a couple East Coast championships. This last year was at Daytona. So that was a really fun bucket list track. We've done COTA. We've done a lot of these big tracks that our racers really love. And it's the first time in, I believe, almost 7 years that we're going back to the West Coast at Laguna Seca. So it's going to be a very fun time. I think everyone's going to be super excited about it, and it's a bucket list track.
Yeah, we're talking middle of September. Correct?
Middle of September, yes.
Which for all of you people is a wonderful time to not be where you live.
September's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You've been there. What better way?
More seat time than the last one.
Well, which, by the way, if you take a Toyota or a Mazda, you're probably in good shape because it was a boring BMW, and that was part of the problem. Yeah.
But to tag on to that, that following Monday, our championships are Saturday and Sunday. right after that, we're going to have that 6.5 hour Seaside Cup for the work event, work championship. So I think it'll be great.
I'm sorry, boss. I'm sick. I can't make it into work on Monday.
No, that's fantastic.
Okay, so NASA is looking for an grassroots level organization. What is NASA doing to stay grounded in amateur?
Building programs with huge partners like Toyota, Mazda, all of our big sponsors, like Hawk, Toyo Tires. They've supported the grassroots community in such an enormous way that we couldn't do it without them. And one of the best things to do is, anyone that doesn't want to be, that doesn't either have the money to become a professional racer or just doesn't want to do that, we have this entire curriculum for them. So if you just bought a sports car like this GR86 or you have a Mustang, whatever you want to do, you just want to hang out in HPDE, we have that. You can do that in any region. You can do that at any major city or major track. If you want to maybe step it up a little bit, maybe I want to get a little more competitive, start modifying my car, time trial, but you don't want to go wheel-to-wheel racing yet. So that's the perfect level of competition. And then maybe you want to step it up. Maybe now you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm really getting into racing. Let's do wheel-to-wheel racing. We have the entire curriculum to do that. We have competition schools throughout the year. We have plenty of people and resources to talk to get into it and just to stay at this grassroots level.
That's
exactly how I did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and go say that out loud. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's exactly how I did it. Started with NASA with HPDE and then went into time trials and then wasn't quite sure I was ready for wheel-to-wheel, but a lot of folks said I was, so I decided to make the jump this year, and it's been a very good progression up. So
it's awesome. Very cool.
We call that chasing the dragon. You get your car and you're like, oh, this is great. And you're having fun and you're on the track and you're like, oh, I'm going to make this one modification and then I'm going to make this one modification and then it's always that one mod that you're not going to be able to drive it anymore. So then you buy a truck and a trailer, and then you're sitting there at the stoplight with your truck and your trailer and your race car and you look over and you're like, oh, I could buy one of those. I could buy that Toyota Supra, and it's fast enough to have on the track, and I don't need a truck and a trailer. I can just drive it to the track, and then you go back to modify, and then you're again shopping for a truck and a trailer.
And I think this is probably a good time. We didn't really ask Tracy this because we know we're going to have her in a later show, but your Corvette, was it a daily, not a daily driver, but was it
it was street.
It was a street. Is it?
I bought it, no. I bought it new in late 2007, and it's slowly been modified. And that one thing I did to make it was the cage. It's just not streetable anymore.
No, and people that drive around in cages are actually not, it's a bad thing, because if you get into any sort of an accident, your unhelmeted head is now bouncing off of a metal pipe.
And it really doesn't drive well on the street with the alignment and everything else. So
that's what usually does it for me.
But on the track,
clutch
it's
and
perfect.
The alignment, and I get tired of having to pee blood when I get to work because the suspension is set up like that.
That's a rough day.
And actually, and I'm going to steal a tiny bit of Chrissy's glory here.
Pee blood.
So our friend Alex Barton, he just got done building a gorgeous MR2 about 2 weeks ago, and his cage builder was driving it over to the glass shop to put the front windshield back in it. And being an experienced cage builder, the guy got in and said, yeah, I'm going to grab a helmet. Threw on a helmet. Well, yeah, because he didn't have a windshield. And it was less than a half a mile, and a block from the shop, straight up T-bone, smashed it. The cars were right off, and the police showed up, and they thought they had they thought they were going to have to call the coroner. And the guy hops out of the car because he had a helmet on and goes, well, this sucks, but now I get to stand here and go, this sucks, instead of, so yeah, the cage, yeah.
Well, and I think this goes right to what we're talking about today with NASA is, it is so much safer to bring your car, even your street car, to a track for a track weekend.
Yep.
Even if it has 0 mods on it, don't go with 0 mods. The first thing you got to do is bleed your brakes with race fluid. But really, that's probably, if everything is in tip-top shape, get a, if you're not a mechanic, have a mechanic look at it to make sure it's good, bleed it with good race fluid, take it to a track day, and really learn what your car can do on a track.
Yep.
Like, doesn't NASA usually have some tech advisors and some shops that you guys work with to improve? Yeah.
Yep. There's some shops. So every region has kind of a list of shops that they can go to. So if they need to get their car inspected, or race builds or any of that stuff. But if it's just a simple tech inspection, they can do it. Or they have on-site tech inspection. So you show up in the morning, a couple tech inspectors will come and they'll take a look at your car, make sure it's safe, make sure if you have a harness or any of that stuff that it meets all of the safety requirements, make sure your helmet is up to date. So there's a lot of things that NASA does, to keep everybody as safe as possible and as fun as possible.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of belts, because we've got John here, I'm going to leverage this thing. What's the number one thing you see with seat harnesses?
Poorly mounted. The dimensional angles of the seat just wrong.
And it's one of those things, if you don't know, you don't know. So you take it to a tech inspector and they go, good effort. Let's try not to crack your spine and we'll fix it like this. Yeah.
But one of the best things is, you don't need to have a modified car to race with NASA or to race anything. You can bring an absolutely stock car. Like I came out there with a Subaru Crosstrek and I just did a couple HPD3 sessions and it's just super fun. You learn a lot about the car. You learn a lot about the track. You're going at speed and you learn more about, you learn more about the racetrack than you would in a stock car than you would in a modified car if you're new.
Well, and so we're looking at two competitors at different levels, wheel to wheel competitor, and then you're doing it at a healthy level. And we hear so much of as soon as I get these coilovers, I'm coming out. Or as soon as I put this part of my car, or as soon as I get that part of my car. Look, does the car run? Does it leak anything? Is the battery secure? Bring the car.
Yeah, your lug nut's tight. You're good.
Yeah. And if they're not, we got torque wrenches.
I've actually said that 1,000 times on our show. Is if you wait until your car is done, there is no such thing as a done car.
True.
Just take it as it is, check it to make sure it's healthy, change the brake fluid, and get on track.
Let's get on the track.
And you can do it. Do you have any idea how many tracks does NASA run?
I don't know the exact number of tracks, but we do about 120 events per year. So any major city, region, any major racetrack, you'll find a NASA event at least once a month.
Tracy, how long did your car? So you bought it as a driver. How long did it go before you put it on the track and you made that first modification?
Well, I started to autocross. I don't know if you count that as track, but
it's a gateway drag. Absolutely, it's a good one.
And I put a different sway bar on for that. So see, it already started with autocross. But then I'm a very competitive person, and I want the car to be competitive. But I did it very slowly as my comfort level of my driving. When I went to tracks, I went to HPDE schools. I didn't just go out there and just think I could do time trials. I really did take a lot of time for seat time and instruction.
And we've talked about that, the ladder, the educational ladder at NASA. Obviously, we love the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
But
they're very good.
You have never put your car on the track. You can read the curriculum and feel comfortable from the very first part of it.
Yeah.
They're going to put you in the classroom. You're going to learn some techniques. Then you're going to go on the track and practice those techniques. And you're going to get better. I said it before. I had probably 1,000 race miles, thousands of race miles before I went to my first HPDE. I specifically signed up for level 1 because I wanted an instructor with me at all times. Because why am I going if I don't have an instructor? Right. So if I sign up for 2 or 3, I only get an instructor every other session. And I learned that weekend both in the classroom and behind the wheel. So you never think you don't have anything to learn.
And if you find the level you're comfortable with, you're a safer street driver.
Yeah.
After any HPDE.
Yep.
Because you're just learning, you're training your eyes, you're training your awareness.
Yep.
That's a great time.
It makes you a lot more aware on the street. You're absolutely right.
All right.
All right, I think we're done the interview section, but don't go away, either of you. We are going to keep moving on.
Sure.
First, we want to make sure to give each of you a chance to pick your social media, tell us
Sure.
how we can find out more, whatever you can do. We'll start with Aldrin.
Sure, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. I really appreciate this opportunity. If you're looking for more information about NASA, you can always reach us on our social media. We're at Drive NASA on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. For drivenasa.com, if you want more information on how to get started with us, you want to start racing, all of our rule sets there, all the information is there housed on our website. And then we also have our own publication, digital publication called Speed News, and that's all things.
Every week in my inbox.
Every week in the inbox. We send a newsletter every week on Wednesdays, and it's all NASA related. So it's whether it's new gear, whether it's race reports, or anything that's in the world of NASA, covering regions, covering doing spotlights on people on our races. We want to celebritize all of our drivers and our community. So that's the place for that, and you can visit nasaspeed.news for that, and you can sign up to our newsletter, and you guys will get some news every week.
And you should, but
I
Celebritize.
love that word. That is a marketing word. Aldrin, celebritize.
No.
And you were like,
Aldrin.
yes.
Aldrin said celebritize, and everyone else went, yes.
Give that guy a ring.
Yes.
That's an extra 0. Yeah. So we want to highlight all of our NASA drivers. We, without them, we wouldn't be around. So as long as they're racing with us, we'll do everything that we can to make them awesome.
Awesome. Tracy, you're up. Tell us where we can find out more.
But you have to get it all because you're coming back.
All right. Well, on social media, I'm found by Team Tracy Motorsport. That's the name of my team. A single TeamTracyMotorsport.com is my website. So I'm both on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also find me on Twitter at Motorsport Tracy.
All right. I won't ask around if you're all listeners of the show, so I'll go ahead and explain it.
Tracy admitted she listened before she came on here and still came on. So
Tracy claims to have listened, but you might not have listened to a show where we did an on-the-spot question.
Oh, there we go.
On-the-spot question. So, on the spot! On-the-spot question is a question we have not prepared and is not in the notes. And we're going to start with John's in on this too, Tracy, Aldrin, and all the hosts. We are an amateur endurance podcast. But we're going to talk about pro racing for 1 minute.
if you say the words Hamilton and or Vettel.
Exactly what I'm going to say. Lewis Hamilton.
Is the greatest of all time.
Yes.
Drives for the greatest manufacturer of all time.
What do you got next week?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay. All right. I not where I thought that was going.
I'm saying, who is going to win more points next week?
It's this Sunday.
This Sunday.
And this Sunday's up.
I thought there was a week in between.
No, they went straight from Saudi to
Who do you got?
Abu
Max
Dhabi.
or Lewis?
Or somebody else.
Or somebody. No, well, one of them is going to win the national championship.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the grand championship. Who's going to win? Max
Global.
Hamilton, around on the spot, around the horn. Raise your hand if you have an answer. Chris is up.
I'm going to go with Lewis. He's got him under pressure. Like, he's proven himself too many times.
It's true.
All right, we're good. Everybody's got an answer. Who's next? I'm not. John Pagel.
So, I haven't watched Formula 1 in
Oh,
But when I was up in Canada building my house and it was raining Sunday, and I was with Dan Lyle, and Canada has a great feed of it. I watched Formula 1 for 2 months. Hamilton's the master.
amazing. No question.
I would like to see someone else.
Yes.
I agree.
So I think Hamilton's going to win it, but I hope someone else mixes out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All the way. Who's next? Who's next?
And
got his hand up.
it's no secret. I'm a Hamilton fan.
Mercedes gear.
It's in
That's the Mercedes.
yeah, I'm a Toto Wolff fan. I'm a Hamilton fan, and I agree. I genuinely think this is probably going to be the last year for Hamilton. He's expressed boredom. He doesn't even show up for practice days anymore, and he's looking for the next big thing that he's going to do. I'd like to see him go out on top. So I think, like you said, I think he's got it. I think, the end of the year nail biter for a national champ or for the world champion. Yeah, the national champion. Right.
By the way, John, do you know who won the national championship in Lemons this year? Raise
National effing champion.
17 years in a row or something like that.
But
Sorry, back to
yeah, but going back, so it's the same reason. If you've got Alabama playing anyone, and what's that being thing? Alabama's used to being there. No sports ball, and Lewis is used to being there. Lewis is used to being in the hunt. Lewis is used to being there, and it's just not going to bother them that much. That whole Mercedes team, and it's Abu Dhabi, which they've got a gajillion laps running around. Yeah, so yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with John on this one. I think Lewis Hamilton's greatest. Like, he's fantastic, super talented driver, and but I think having somebody else beat him, this Max, I think it would be a nice change of pace.
Right, Chrissy.
I'm in the same boat. I would love to see somebody else win. It'd be awesome for Max to win. But Hamilton.
And I really think Max will do it. I mean, he's got balls to he just pushes the limit. I mean, he takes chances, and I really think that's what's he takes chances, and I really think that's what's going to make the difference. So I'm hoping he wins.
I would love for Perez to win.
Oh yeah.
Where did Aldrin come from? Like,
Yeah.
I gave the question, which means I have to go last. Everyone knows that Max Verstappen gear is on my Christmas list. I want to write that down. Thank you. But I love Max, and I completely agree that Lewis is the greatest of all time in the moment. Yes, in all time in the moment. You can't compare. Whatever, Fangio, great.
Oh yeah. James Hunt, Senna.
I think the pressure got to him, and he was the problem. I don't think he got beat by a better car. I don't think he got beat by a better driver. I think he beat himself. Lewis is going to win, and I will cheer because he is amazing and a fantastic guy. But I am absolutely going to wait till next year for Max to win.
All right. And we'll have that F1 league again, our fantasy F1 league, which everyone should always join.
National, right?
Absolutely. National F1 championships. Nation's F1 championship. That's a Lemons theme for you right now. The Nation's F1 championship.
We are going to wrap it up. Do we have any clue what our next show is going to be about?
yes, we do, because we still have 2 days of PRI to go through, and we're going to be talking about it. So we are excited. This is going to be on Saturday, approximately 8 p.m. I think that's too late. It's going to be sometime. We will post it. We'll try to go with the time. We're going to be doing it live and on Facebook and YouTube. We've only been here a day. We've got plenty to look at. We've got plenty to talk about. We've already talked to a bunch of manufacturers that we're excited to tell you about.
Awesome. Live show probably means we're going to get drunk. That probably means Chrissy is not going to be able to speak by the end of the podcast.
And I will be offering all of you my kidney.
I'm 1 beer in. I just called Formula One the national. Well, I'd like to say to everyone out there, once again, thank you to RacingJunk.com for giving us the wonderful booth today, letting us do the live show.
Mark, run away. Mark,
is around
thank you.
somewhere. We're thanking you.
We're thanking you.
Hey, you guys are more than welcome. We appreciate it having you, and it's always a pleasure to see you guys. But you don't look like you had any fun over here.
No. Well, thank you to RacingJunk.com. Go get the newsletter.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pay the $5 a month for the premium membership.
Thank you for downloading us, those that are listening. We hope you enjoyed this semi-double week edition of Everyone Racing. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving. If you enjoy this podcast,
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, we might do it. Well,
Yeah.
we might just put it on YouTube with just our PRI picture, because we do have that handful of folks that this is the only way they get it. And they minimize it in the background anyway, so they're watching it at work.
All right.
The infamous, is he effing eating right now?
We were drinking beers, by the way. So if you're watching,
We were
on
totally
YouTube,
drinking
talk
beers.
to the doodly-doo. If you're watching from home or listening in your car, get home, then open your computer or your phone. Email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us, 484-243-0455.
And I'd like to point out that what follow me on my social media. My phone got stolen, and everyone was worried about all the junk pics that were on my phone. And that's immediately how the people that found my phone knew, oh, this guy is just strange, because you've all texted me your junk. Yeah, it's great.
Junk pics.
That's junk cars, everybody.
It actually was. Yeah. It was 100% PG rated junk pics. Yes.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. We are posting a ton of stuff from PRI. We're going to talk about it. We saw a very interesting car today.
Don't tell people.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to spoil it. Lots of things to follow us on all of our social media. We're even on Reddit. Does anybody ever go to Reddit?
I doom scroll on Reddit all the time.
TikTok. I started the TikTok account.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, E1R on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, or else John Pagel will fail your cage and keep you out of the race for an entire year. Just keep those wheels down.